There are the Chris Sims 2022 cornerback draft rankings led by Sauce Gardner, a guy who is widely regarded to be the top in the class. What did you see in him that set him apart, Chris?
Well, it's just rare to be like that size, 6'4", 6'3" and change, whatever exactly he is, and to have that type of speed too. Mike, guys like that, usually with that type of length, it's build-up speed. They're not the greatest and quickest at changing directions and doing things like that, but that's not an issue with this kid. He's got incredible feet for his size. The run 4.41 also at his size. It's real. He's got great strength. The ability because of that size and length too, Mike. One of those guys that can kind of jam you, push you into the sidelines and be like, yeah, where are you going to go? There's nowhere to go now. And I'm just as fast as you. So we're stuck. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer with that one in that department. It's just the fact that 6'3", 4.41, tape to back it up. Not a lot of guys on the planet that got that kind of athleticism with that kind of length to go along with it.
Receiver knows where he's going. Cornerback doesn't. It makes that agility, this change of direction, the speed, all of those things more critical for the guy who's reacting to what the receiver is trying to do.
Yeah.
And, he never allowed – now, it was Cincinnati, and I don't know what conference they've been in, but still, he never allowed a touchdown in his college career. That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. It is. I mean, he's one of those guys, got good ball skills. He's scary. You didn't really want to attack him. And you were kind of like, if you're going to play Cincinnati, now they had another pretty good corner who I think is going to get drafted in the mid-rounds. But either way, I think it's one of those where teams are like, there's better places to attack than this guy over here. So not only can he play man and do that too, he's got a good football IQ. He's going to be great in zones too because of his quickness in short areas, Mike. We're trying to put a receiver behind him and in front of him. He'll be able to cover ground, and because of that length too, he'll be a pain in the butt to throw around. So when it comes to receivers like Mike Evans and DeAndre Hopkins of the world, and that, man, Sauce Gardner was put on earth to guard those guys right there.
When we were talking during the season about all the interceptions Trevon Diggs was having for the Cowboys, and people just assume, hey, if he has a lot of interceptions, he must be a great corner. And no disrespect, but if you're a great corner, you don't get many receptions, if any, because they quit throwing in your direction.
Exactly.
Deion Sanders did not have a lot of interceptions because you just wiped out half of the field. You don't even think about throwing it his way.
Yes, exactly right. With Diggs, it was kind of like the gift and the curse. You were like, man, we can burn him probably like 4 times for 130 yards in this game, but he might get us once or twice with some crazy interception. So you're exactly right that way. But this is one of those guys, that I think classifies as let's not mess with him for sure. And I think he translates to really just about any defensive scheme. The teams that run the Seattle defensive scheme, they're going to love him and go, ooh, he's Richard Sherman. And then the other teams that play man and do different things as far as more versatile on that side of the ball, they're going to go, we love him too. He can do all of that stuff. So really a pretty safe pick and a pretty incredibly talented kid out of Cincinnati.
Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU.
Yeah.
He's not on your top 5. Everybody else has him as a very high pick. How high were you?
Everybody has him as a high something with a but or an if or a ooh and an if and a what and a but and an if. And it's like the talent, there's the things to look at and go, oh, my gosh, these are the way he looks. First off, the way he looks in his uniform, he looks like a superstar. He looks like a Darrelle Revis, a Champ Bailey. He's got incredible hips. He does. He's really like silky smooth with some of the movements he does, Mike. The problem is his best year of football was 3 years ago. It was his freshman year. Sophomore year, it was not very good, and he got hurt. This past year, it was good, but I didn't turn on the film this past year and go, oh, my gosh, he's back. He's reinvigorated. He's shutting down. This guy's everywhere. No. Let alone there's, plays where you go, well, this guy shouldn't be catching a ball on him. And how does he miss that tackle? And he doesn't seem like he cares. And then he's got injuries. And then we're talking about film that is less than each year after the freshman year. To me, this is what I couldn't get behind that. Again, I recognize there's talent, and he could be a guy that maybe really ends up, shutting me up and being one of the best corners in the sport. but I wouldn't be able to draft him in the first round with what I've seen on film the last 2 years and everything to go along with it, along the injuries. To me, it's just too risky. It's too much on urban legend and, oh, he was the #1 defensive guy coming out, and, oh, look what he did for that national championship team. And I want to just go, but there's not enough here the last 2 years, enough meat and potatoes to really go, you're sure you're going to make him a top 10, top 20 pick? That's where I just can't get behind that.
Rest assured that if he does become a star player and we're interviewing him, say, at the Super Bowl or whatever, we won't bring any of this up.
Listen, I deserve it.
We won't play any of it. We won't.
He's scary. But the guy I used, and again, I'm rooting for this kid. I want to make sure people know that. And I recognize that there's real potential. And I respect the family. The family loves football. His grandfather, as we know, was the ex-wide receiver for the Patriots. Mike, I don't know if you knew that or not, who got paralyzed, right? That's his grandfather.
Darryl Stingley.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a family thing here for sure. But I also, I feel like we're living a little bit on where he was ranked coming out of high school. It reminds me a little of Robert Kimdichie. Remember when he came out of Ole Miss? You remember that name? It was the same thing. He was the #1 defensive recruit in the country. He had a pretty good freshman year. And then it kind of went downhill from there. But everybody was like, man, but he's such an athlete. And in the combine and the way he looks. And I would turn on the film and go, but yeah, when he gets double teamed, he's 30 yards down the field and they're just running right over him. So just because he had a good workout and he was ranked cool and he had a few good highlight plays, we're just going to wipe off the slate. And don't forget about those 40 horrible plays. That, and not to say it's quite to that extent, but there's, to me, a worry there, and I wouldn't be able to put my name to drafting him in the first round, that's for sure.
Real quickly, Notre Dame safety Kyle Hamilton being touted as generational.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Well, I don't think he's generational yet. I would say he is a really good football player, 6'4", 220, Mike. 4.59 at the combine. People question the speed a little bit. The film doesn't show you anything to go, well, I question the speed. First off, he has great size to play the run. He's a great tackler, and he's really phenomenal in coverage for his size. Great ball skills. He's a kid I've seen in person working the Notre Dame games. He can do everything. So what I would say is he's got a chance to be generational. He does. Because he's got strength of a linebacker. He's got great football instincts. He can tackle. He can cover. He can, as you see, catch the ball naturally. There's really nothing he can't do on the football field. Made to cover the Travis Kelce's and the Darren Wallers of the world, Mike. That's where he has a chance to be generational that way, to go, ooh, we've never had quite this kind of guy, this athletic in the NFL, and be able to really handle some of these awesome pass-catching tight ends. Sorry, that wasn't quick, but I had to talk good about him.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.